what exactly is happening when we listen to someone's story or we see um, something that people do that is very touching. Why does it make us move? Like, what happens? What is it about their story? You would hear the next story and you feel a certain feelings after that, right? So why is that? That is, we're going to talk now about emotions and different roles emotions play, and different ways of understanding the origin of emotions. This is a very important topic in psychology, so let's explore together. You will see that motivation that we just spoke about in the last few videos and emotion is stemming from the same Latin word to move. So it does make sense, right? Why do we see something motivational? We feel a range of emotions, right? Emotions lead us to wanting to do something that's motivating. So yes, to make things more clear, understand that it comes from the same word, so it is very closely related. I'm going to pose a question. Does your heart pound because you are afraid, or are you afraid because you feel your heart pounding? Which of this is true? Well, you can take a minute, you can take more than that. You can pause the video, have a conversation with someone. Yes, no matter what you think, I want you to write that in a sheet of paper and listen to a few other theorists that theorists have come up with to answer that question. So let's see which of that is more close to what you have come up with. The first explanation of emotions is how you see certain event that happens, which in this case we call it a stimulus, right? A car approaching you from the other side of the road. So when you see that, you feel your heart rate increasing, and because you hear that heart sounding, you feel an emotion of fear. This is what James and Lang actually proposed. They both proposed it separately, but proposed the same thing. So we have actually put them together here. All right. The other people were not really convinced, and Cannon and Bard actually came up with this, saying, well, you don't really have time to have that heart race after you see, and so for the feeling to come later, it actually happens simultaneously. So Cannon and Bard believes that the event simultaneously makes that physiological response and also elicits a response of fear. Well, you may agree or you may not, but this kind of makes sense, right? Now look at your response and see if that works. If it still doesn't, maybe it's because you believe in this true factor theory. This two factor theory suggests that you see the stimulus, you have the response, but there is a cognitive piece which comes along with the physiological one that says, well, because this makes you the event makes you feel that way, you think about it and you give a label to it. Oh, I'm afraid. That's why my heart is aching, and it's pounding. Once you do that, give that explanation to it cognitively, that's when together you feel the fear. So in some ways, it's like a combination of both. Both factors are considered, but here there is a cognitive piece that's added. Well, a lot of you may agree with this, or some may not, but there are studies that actually talk about how each of these are true too. So, write in your responses in the comments below about which one stands out to you as being more accurate. Let's see cognition, the cognitive piece of emotion. When you see a snake, the sight of snake does this in the biological perspective. Let's look at how the message is delivered. When you see the snake through your eyes, the message actually relates to what's called thalamus. Thalamus, remember, is a relay station. It goes there, and there are two routes this message can take. It could be a short route, a shortcut, or it can come the regular way. The shortcut would be just a message going and then it coming to amygdala and saying, you are feeling this way. Remember, amygdala is emotions, right? Going here, coming out. It just takes that split second. But there is a route that goes that says, okay, you feel this way. Thalamus relates the message. Oh, this looks like a snake. You have seen the snake before. This kind of looks like that. And that message goes to your visual cortex, which kind of makes interpretation of the sensations, which is here. It actually sees occipital lobe. It sees that. It understands the message. It goes then through it touches all the cerebellum. If the movement is required, tell the message there. But it actually takes its time because it wants to form that image and check if that is snake. And then tell the amygdala, oh, this is snake, and you need to move out, get out of the way. So you will see that this is why sometimes you see something that's shaped like a snake, like a rope, and we still have the same fear, like how we would have when it's a real snake. This is what happens in the brain. Now, I want you to explain, try to see if the three theories that you studied about, if you can explain using the same concept with this example of sight of a snake. With the sight of the snake, that being the stimulus, how would you come up with the response of the three theories? How will the three theories explain this? Write in your responses, and then once you write, I want you to check if you came up with this. James Lang would say, well, it will lead event. This is the event. It will lead to physiological response, leading to fear. This event will lead to the thalamus relaying the information. According to Cannon-Barr, there would be both together, physiological and emotional. This event will make the physiological arousal, cognitive would come into play, and then there will be fear. So this kind of helps us to understand emotions and the role of biology, the role of psychology, and the role of cognitive part all coming together to understand emotions.